If you watch CTV at all, you probably have seen her over the past couple of days on TV. Sandie Rinaldo has been, would you say, Natasha, one of the most
Oh,
recognizable faces on Canadian TV?
absolutely. She is a living legend. She is, I mean, I feel like she's part of the family almost. You know, when you've been watching someone for so long
Yeah.
and they're in your living rooms, on your television, you just feel like you know them and they become larger than life, but also part of our lives.
Sandie Rinaldo is celebrating 50 years, 50, at CTV,
It's
working in
amazing.
media, and she's on the line right now. Sandie, thanks so much for being with us today.
Hi, Aaron. Hi, Natasha.
Yeah.
Congratulations. How
I
does
know
it feel?
I can't believe it's been 50 years. I had
Yeah.
no idea where the time went. You know, I've been looking at those old photographs as we put the special together, and it's like it's another person. I'm really trying to be in the moment to savor it. It feels so surreal.
So, real quickly, and I know you have CTV is going to be running a special on this for people who want to sort of jump in and find out more. But you started in the business back in 1973. Can you just recount how you started and what the push was for you to get involved?
So I had always been interested in journalism. I have a right brain, left brain connection, if you will. I was interested. I was in the fine arts as well, and I had a musical, theatrical, dance interest as well as journalism. But when I graduated, I cold called CBC, offered them my services again, naively thinking they'd jump at the opportunity, and I was quickly told I needed some experience. But not to be dissuaded or discouraged, I picked up the phone and called CTV as well and happened to get the head of personnel on the phone. And he must have been bored that day. But, you know, he sat on the phone and patiently encouraged me and gave me some advice as to where to proceed. And, you know, sometimes there's a sliding door moment. And there was. The director of news called during that conversation, said he needed someone to answer the phones. The head of personnel said to me, "Do you want to answer the phones?" I said, "Yes." I went down to Charles Street, which in Toronto is at Bloor and Young, had my interview and started the following Monday. You know, it's as if, for me, it was all about taking an opportunity and then running with it.
So, I
How
want to make sure I got that right. You started off answering phones?
Yes.
I love that.
that didn't last long.
That's fabulous.
You know, I said to Don Cameron, who was director at News, he's the one who hired me. He asked me what I wanted to do with my life. And I said, one day, again, this comes with the brazenness of youth and perhaps naivete. I said, one day I'd be hosting Canada AM. And he found me so amusing. He said, all right, let's see what you can do. And he took a chance.
Wow.
It's
And
wonderful.
here we
I
are
can
50 years later. That's remarkable.
I can only imagine, Sandy, though, like how much things have changed. First of all, how much you must have seen, but what's it been like to watch the industry change as much as it has, especially as a
It's
woman?
been it's been amazing to watch the evolution. You know, back then it was a man's world. You know, all the producers, the executive producers, the anchors, the hosts were all men. Women were largely relegated to what we called the pink ghetto. It was the entry level jobs. And, you know, as far as on camera, the reporters, female reporters were few and far between. It was unheard of to have an anchor as a woman. In fact, you know, Tom Walters tracked down a BBC handbook of that time period in which it said women cannot be news anchors because their voices are not credible. So,
Wow.
you know, it was a challenge. We had to work harder to prove ourselves. We had to ask the difficult questions and prove we could. We were given assignments that were just as challenging as the men were given, but we had to work harder to go that extra mile. And how different things are today, Natasha, I would just say that, you know, it's such a level playing field. It's not just for men and women, but it's for men and women of color, of different races and cultures. We are a multicultural country, and the industry, we're not perfect, but by and large, we are fully representative of who we are as a nation.
I want to ask before we run out of time. So, looking back over 50 years, and I've seen you on TV as someone who's been in media almost that long, forever. And,
Yes.
and I kind of wonder if you had to look back, whether it was as a reporter, whether it was as an anchor, sort of a defining moment, one that you look at and think, wow, I'm glad I was there. I needed to be there that night. A memorable moment for you would have been what?
I think for me, it's the idea of when I sit down and speak to people, you know, when I speak to politicians, I want to get something from them that isn't a soundbite. I want to have them break outside the mold. of who they are as politicians and tell me something about them. In the same way, I can be accused of being private, and at this point, yes, I will admit candidly, I've kept my private life, my personal life private, largely because as journalists, we tell other people's stories. We don't tell our own. So for me, the challenge, the aha moment was getting someone to say something that was a revelation, and then a follow-up question to get them to respond in another way. That for me has been the highlight.
Was there one particular moment where you kind of said, oh my God, I can't believe that just happened?
I think there have been a number of them. I don't want to spoil this. I'm not holding back intentionally, but there was actually a second special that's morphed out of this first. That's my favorite 50 interviews in 50 years.
Okay.
I've done well over thousands of interviews.
Yeah.
And among them are some moments that will make you laugh and others that will make you cry. So, yes, there are some highlights for sure.
The special is on, if you want to watch this, tonight on CTV at 9 p.m. It is simply called I'm Sandie Rinaldo, and this is Sandie Rinaldo. Sandie, thank you so much, and congratulations. By the way, you have no plans of going anywhere, right? You're sticking around CTV?
I'm sticking around. I have more people I want to talk to.
Oh, perfect. Good.
Excellent.
Looking forward to that.
So
Thank you
glad
so
to
much
hear
for
that.
your time.
Thank you both.
Thank you.
Okay.
You're an inspiration, really.